Hey, greetings everybody! We have a new banner out and some new content, so let's dive in and take a peek at it, if for no other reason than to get some space in the algorithm out there for this. So, what do we got? So the new content that is basically shown up, Seed Astray event is done and over with, and now we have the new Fierce Enemy Assault with a little bit of old Fierce Enemy Assault. So just like the first time around, this event doesn't look like it has changed too terribly much. The Red Gundam has returned, which I think is actually really nice, as, you know, at the beginning of a game, maybe some people weren't ready, maybe some people missed it, so it's cool that people will have another chance available. What's really interesting as well, you do notice that you have a certain number of skips available. Pay attention to that if you are farming these things. But just going in and talking about this, on my Japanese account, I was able to very, by the end of the event, able to clear the top level. And at 150,000 power, I was curious about how that would scale into the future. And taking a look at our two new machines, first off, this one, and secondly, our over.on armor form, we have only maybe a little bit of a power spike here, only 160,000, which if you've been playing since day one, probably won't be too much of a concern for you. Now, I haven't exactly seen all of them, but I know that there are defenders and supporters in these maps, so do be careful when you're going into them. But it is pretty cool that I think this is still, the events are still really, really accessible, and Eternal Road is the high point. Taking a look at what we are looking at here, well, the Saikoro Gundam, interesting little thing here. Nice defense on it, actually, for a defender unit. I know that defender units aren't super well valued, but for a mid-tier one, this is kind of interesting. It has a nice defense stat and pretty good HP, so cool. As for this one, we actually have another an offensive machine this time. And for an SSR, pretty nice. Probably will be good for clearing some of the Eternal Road content to which it is going to be attached to. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to see that we got some stuff to do. And yeah, not really much else. Let's talk about the actual banner. So this time around, we have a banner for the Z Gundam series, specifically the Zeta Gundam with Camille, and we also have Paptimus Skyroko, which, again, terrible with names, and I'm not even going to pronounce the support. I've already done a video on supporters, so I'm not going to talk about it other than, yeah, still don't think it's worth a whale, but if you get it on your way up, cool. 90,000 gems is a lot to get just anything in this game right now, especially for free-to-players, so yeah. So talking about this, let's see what the big deal is. Zeta Gundam introducing the first unit wielding a high-power weapon with a range of 4. The higher your HP, the more damage dealt to the enemy. Also has weapon effects, be cautious about losing HP, and time your attacks for maximum damage. Now that's pretty cool. Taking a look at Camille, I was pretty interested in seeing that this is the first attacker type with an HP repair skill. Activating the skill will restore 60% HP, which, I mean, if we're directly comparing this unit to a previous unit, well, then it's going to be the Strike Freedom, since it is the most recent one here. And just taking a look at Camille, I find this a little bit concerning. Camille having the HP restoral is obviously very synergistic with the Zeta Gundam, and that's great. You also have this increased critical rate boost, so you can maybe score really high damage with a single attack. If you like dice rolls, but I don't like the particular thing here that he only has a single chance step, as opposed to we've seen other characters with double chance steps. Those seem just better for me, from my point of view of clearing maps. But looking at the Zeta Gundam, it is a package deal here, and the Zeta Gundam is looking particularly pretty nice, pretty flat. be pretty high power level as well, compared to something like the Strike Freedom, where just looking at the Strike Freedom, it was about 140,000 attack, roughly. This one, almost 160,000 attack, which is quite high. Mobility also is going to be really high for this because it does have an alternate form that it can get into, and that's going to make it good for going around the map, maybe just bum rushing the enemy, the main enemy at the very start. And again, looking at the different skills that we have here, no map skill or anything like that. A little bit of disappointing because map skills can be pretty good value at times. But again, I think the Wave Rider Charge EX is the thing that you are really getting this unit for. Other than that, you have the Hyper Mega Launcher so that you have the range of 5. Personally, I mean, cards on the table, I'm not the biggest Zeta fan. I'm just not. This doesn't, to me, look like the most impressive mobile suit that would get me to go all the way for it. Not because I don't like it or I don't see the value here. I just think that at this point, with how many resources I put into Strike Freedom and just not wanting a bunch of off pace or like not on banner units, this to me is a unit that I feel will be a good investment for people who chose not to go with the Strike Freedom and see the value of Zed and Double Zed. Missing a few things, not super happy with Camille being the way he is. Maybe that's just the general feelings of the community of how Camille is seen. But yeah, I would almost get the, like, it's a package deal, but I would almost want the Zeta Gundam with just another character. Because I think a lot of characters, especially with high chance hits, with such a high DPS unit, will probably be able to leverage that and not take any HP damage anyway. Also, you just have good range to potentially stay out of DPS, and there are plenty of good defending units out there that can keep this unit from taking any damage if you really want that. So yeah, I basically like the Zeta Gundam, not Camille so much. That puts me at kind of a midpoint in going super ham for this unit. But again, a little bit of power creep, it feels like, maybe, compared to the Strike Freedom. So I'm also imagining that, you know, more units will just see this continuous power creep. So depends if you want to. Here, looking at the O Gundam, support units are way more tempting to me because support units can be great for chaining high amounts of damage very quickly. Looking at what we have, also 20,000, 10k attack, mobility, looking pretty nice. A little bit of a boost on energy, which is great. The range on this, a little bit slower, not the 5 that I like to see off of like units like this. Like, just gives support a little bit more flexibility of being multi-use by a ton of different characters. So here, Beam Sword, it's powerful and everything like that. Just going back and checking our unit that's coming with it, double supports, which is great. One chance step, but again, that I think is pretty on the, pretty good. We also have the MP up, which is nice, and boost range, which kind of does make up for the unit's potentially weak points here. Looking also at anything that we have for just in the information available, Felix, damage taken from beam weapons up by 25%, so good, seems really good. Super high or above, an ability can increase your attack and defense by 10%. Support your allies while raising your vigor to unleash devastating damage. Up to 2 supports, counterattacks, really nice. First ever character with the ability to increase attack when using support attacks and able to get 20% attack boost when the support attack skill is used. It's weird, like the Zeta Gundam feels like the better machine of these two, but the overall better combo to me seems like the O, which just seems really, really nice. As for the support unit, well, I've talked about these before. Support units are just nice drops for most players, for whales who are wanting to get the most out of dealing the most damage, and the fact that this does have a Psychomu tag is probably pretty good synergy for stuff into the future and potentially really difficult content or PvP if you are wanting to run those type of units. That's all great and everything. So where do I think on this banner? Now, unfortunately, I'm just going to be really, I guess, mean, and some people are not going to like this. I don't think that this banner is as good as the previous one, just because as of right now, we don't know when more Z or double Z content is on the horizon. We did know with Seed. We know that Seed has quite a bit of content, and the Strike Freedom has the potential... I think my cat just had a bad dream as he woke up and hissed at something. That's interesting. That's never happened. Where was I? Yes. Talking about this banner, I just don't see as much value. It will still have good value, I think, potentially far in the future, but it doesn't seem as immediate or potentially as, like, quick return as something like the Strike Freedom did. Nice units, especially at nice machines, I think, across both, and the combo in one is really good. But you know what? It is the sake of a video. Let's do a poll to end this, and I will say that I think that this is personally a skip for me, but I think that most people would probably be good to wait and see what comes into the future. And unless you really like these units, of course, which discounts everything that I've said. And of course, I put that at the end of the video. So here we go. Let's see, just for funsies, if we can get anything off of this banner in a single pull. Clever? No, but we got 3k gems, so, and content. Alright, something's downloading, so that's kind of interesting. Also, if you're wondering why this music choice, why this music, well, I mean, we're going a little bit retro here, so yeah. Okay, Amuro is doing something. Oh, we got 2 supporters in here. Okay, am I going to eat my words on this one? Alright, Amph. A Zeta Gundam 3 from the Green Driver, so that is a Zeta Gundam unit. Yay! E Gundam and Recognista, I have no idea what the hell that is. The Age 1. There's the real fun. Try and guess when our first Age banner will be. Catty! Hey, that's kind of good for my 00. Nothing. You know, it was in that a lot of yellows, but nothing. But yeah, there you go. That's all for now. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and later.